Good morning. It's Friday, June 20th. Here's what we're working on this morning. The search continues for a missing 62-year-old Dundas man.
A rock slide in Banff National Park kills at least one hiker.
And the Indiana Pacers sprint past the OKC Thunder to force a Game 7. Happy Friday. Made it through another week.
And it looks like we all got the memo of what to wear today.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a good thing. I finally got the memos. I'm not a day late and $1 short
There
today.
we go.
So, yeah, there we are.
Yeah, but with you, it just comes whatever comes up in your rotation.
Well, yeah, I try to stick to my, I know I'm a little OCD, but
I like that. I like that.
I do have a rotation. Take from one end of the rolling rack and put to the other.
I
and
hear
then
you.
just carry, kind of carry, so you're not playing favorites all the time. You know? Let's talk about today, Friday, and summer. Summer
Yes,
arrives.
yes, that's right.
That's right. Summer
Last few
arrives.
hours of spring right now.
Yes, we've got the last few hours of spring going on today. We do have a fairly hazy start in the Hamilton area. Other areas, which I can show you on our MTO traffic cameras coming up, I do have some sunshine. So we will see some sun today, but there is a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm as the afternoon goes on that could continue overnight. Tomorrow, pretty much the same thing, but we'll start to ramp up the heat a little bit. Today, we're going to hit 26, humidex 32. Tomorrow will be warmer, and then the heat really settles in. It'll be a heat wave 3 days into the 30s at the beginning of Sunday and the beginning of next week. So we're sitting at 15 right now. Traffic this morning, we did have a real slow down there about 20 minutes ago, but they've cleared all the pylons. The construction is coming to an end, so that is moving quite nicely now. That's our camera at the 403 around Waterdown Road. MTOs, nothing here at the QEW and Welland. The QEW, top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge on the Burlington side, so you're looking down toward North Shore Boulevard. That looks pretty good, and nothing here at Third Line. So usually Friday volume is a little bit better, a little lighter. And keep in mind, this is the weekend for the 2-lane closure, Niagara-bound Skyway Bridge, beginning later on tonight. And we'll talk about that in detail. Traffic and weather, of course, coming up. Right now, the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. Hamilton police have new information on the disappearance of a vulnerable 62-year-old man who's been missing for almost 10 days now. Simone Gavros joins us from the Esso station north of Waterdown with the latest on the search for John Edwards. Simone, good morning.
Good morning, Rick. Police have been looking through hours of surveillance footage and doing extensive ground searches to retrace where John Edwards went on June 11th. Now, the most recent sighting is here at this Esso station just north of Waterdown, and this is on Center Road. Now, in a video that was provided by police yesterday night, you can see that John is walking through the parking lot. He was walking southeast toward Waterdown Village. He then crosses the road, walks through the Esso lot, and then down Concession 6 going southwest. He was wearing a striped blue t-shirt, white socks, running shoes, and a baseball cap with a backpack and holding a small ball in his hand. Investigators say that his movements have included frequent stops and don't seem to have a clear destination. He left his home at St. Joseph's Villa in Dundas on June 11th around 9:15 in the morning. He was then seen walking past the McDonald's on Coots Drive just before 10 a.m. before walking westbound on Baldwin Street. He walked past Memorial Square after that and was last seen in Dundas just before 10:40 a.m. that day. He then walked over 13 kilometers to the spot of his most recent confirmed sighting here. And again, police say that he doesn't have a car or a phone. Now police are asking people in Dundas, Flamborough, and Waterdown to continue looking in their backyard, in their sheds, and around their property, also checking any dash cam or surveillance footage for any clue as to where John Edwards might have gone. For now, something's back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, the search is set to resume this morning after a deadly rock slide in Alberta's Banff National Park. One person was killed and at least 3 others injured in a remote section of the park near Bow Glacier Falls. This video posted on X, which we have not been able to verify, shows a towering cloud of gray dust as a large shelf of stone crashes down a mountainside. Officials say one person was found dead at the scene. 2 others were airlifted to Calgary, which is about 200 kilometers away, and a 3rd person was taken away by ground ambulance. Now, helicopters scanned the area late last night looking for anyone else near the slide. It happened near the Alberta-BC border on a popular hiking trail.
It has been almost 7 weeks since 2 young children went missing from their rural home north of Halifax. With no clear answers, the government of Nova Scotia is offering a reward of up to $150,000 for information about where 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack may be. Lily and Jack were reported missing on May 2nd. Police have said there is little chance the children could have survived several days in the heavily wooded area.
Well, the OPP are looking for witnesses after one of their officers was seriously hurt in a crash in Oakville. Happened on the westbound Highway 403 near Dundas Street just after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The officer was on a motorcycle taking part in motorcade training when his bike and a tractor trailer collided. The police motorcycle ended up wedged under the trailer. The OPP's officers' injuries aren't life-threatening. The highway was closed for several hours for collision reconstruction. A shot's been fired inside an Oakville home during a home invasion. 3 men forced their way into a house on Brookfield Crescent in the Lakeshore Road, Dorval Drive area around 4 yesterday morning. One of them ran into the basement where he was eventually arrested by Halton police. Before then, one of the suspects fired a handgun. No one was hurt. A 20-year-old from North York has been charged with robbery. Police are looking for the 2 other men. As Brian mentioned, lane closures are expected this weekend on the Burlington Skyway. Weather permitting, they are set to start tonight at 10 in the QEW Niagara-bound lanes. 2 lanes will be closed, but the Ministry of Transportation says 2 lanes of traffic will be open on the QEW Niagara-bound at all times. You can use Eastport Drive and its collector lanes as a detour to get around this, but all ramps from the Eastport Drive collector to the bridge will be closed. Lanes will be reopened by 5 on Monday morning. Well, a group of 31 women are trying to become the first ever all-female crew to paddle a dragon boat across Lake Ontario. They were expected to have pushed off from Niagara on the lake early this morning. They have their set sight on Toronto in the record books. The more than 50K journey is raising money for a very good cause.
It's about 52, maybe a bit more kilometers, and it's going to take us about 8 hours, maybe. And we're going across to raise money for Oakville, Options for Independent Living and Development, which is an organization that helps adults with disabilities, and that is located in Hamilton.
And that organization helps the people find housing and independent living.
Sportsline with the Oklahoma City Thunder on the cusp of basketball supremacy last night. The Indiana Pacers proved once again to be a tough out.
16 points, throws it away. Halliburton comes up with it. Cross court, Siakam for the slam.
Pascal Siakam had 16 points and 13 rebounds as the Pacers dominated the Thunder from start to finish, 108-91 to force a Game 7 on Sunday, the first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016. Obi Toppin led Indiana with 20 points. Canadian Andrew Nembhard added 17, while Tyrese Halliburton, playing with a strained calf, scored 14. Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was held to 21 points for OKC. Week 3 of the CFL season kicked off last night with some fireworks in Edmonton.
Looking to throw again, flushed out, running around, buying time, deep look, down to the end zone, wide open, touchdown.
Davis Alexander threw for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Alouettes improved to a league-best 3-0 thanks to a 38-28 victory over the Elks. The loss drops Edmonton to 0-2. Now, Alexander left the game midway through the third quarter after grabbing his left hamstring, but after the game, he said his early exit was precautionary. Tonight, the 0-2 Argos entertain 2-0 Saskatchewan. Kevin Gausman lost his second straight outing after getting tagged for 7 runs over 4+ innings as Arizona avoided a 3-game sweep with a 9-5 win over the Blue Jays. Pavin Smith and Eugenio Suarez each hit home runs off Gausman, who fell to 5-6 on the season. Alejandro Kirk went deep twice for the Jays, who host the White Sox tonight. Yoki Pena smashed his first career homer in the Inter-County Baseball League as the Cardinals beat Kitchener 7-4 to improve to 6-6 on the year. Hamilton's Owen Boone allowed 1 run on 3 hits and struck out 9 over 6 innings to move to 3-0. The Cards host Kitchener tonight in one of 4 games in the IBL, including Welland at London. The Niagara Ironbacks lost 16-6 to the Batavia Muck Dogs. They're now 2-8 in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. After losing to Florida in the Stanley Cup final for a second straight year, Edmonton is facing some pressing issues this offseason, including the future of captain Connor McDavid. He's entering the final year of his contract and is eligible to sign an extension on July 1st, but he's not going to rush into it.
Take some time to regroup, talk to my agent a little bit and family and all that, and make some decisions whenever that time comes. But there's no rush on anything like that. We're all in this together, trying to get it over that finish line. With that being said, ultimately, still need to do what's best for me and my family, and that's who you have to take care of first, but of course there's unfinished business here, yeah.
The Oilers' up and down goaltending and Evan Bouchard's next contract will also be hot topics in Edmonton this offseason. Taiwan's Jeannie Titakun shot a 4-under 68 for a one-shot lead after the opening round of the Women's PGA Championship. Canadian Brooke Henderson is 2 over, while Mississauga Savannah Gruel is 3 over. Defending champion Scotty Scheffler and Austin Eckroth share the first-round lead at 8 under at the Travelers Championship, with Rory McIlroy 2 shots off the pace. Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin are the top Canadians at 4 under, while Dundas's Mackenzie Hughes is 1 over.
Okay, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, and we're looking at fairly hazy conditions, at least in the Hamilton area this morning. Other areas getting some sunshine, but we'll talk about that in detail. Looking at traffic, nothing to see there on that particular shot, but I am getting word of a collision back toward Hamilton. So it's Toronto-bound lanes coming out of Hamilton just before Waterdown Road. We have a collision there, so obviously you're seeing pretty light volume here because there's a backlog a little further back. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. We'll start in St. Catharines. A little bit of sunshine here at Mountain, but no volume. Nikola Tesla Boulevard's doing fine. Same with the 403 junction, so you're looking at the 403 out of Hamilton, away from us toward Brant Street. Nothing there. East of Royal Windsor Drive looks good. Dixie Road, not a problem. Yes, it's 10 o'clock tonight that 2 lanes of the Niagara-bound Skyway Bridge close. They'll be closed right straight through until Monday. That leaves 2 lanes open, but still be prepared for congestion. All right, let's get to the temperature that we have as we're starting out this 20th morning of June. Looking at 15 degrees right now, a little cooler than it was yesterday morning at this time. Winds are light. Relative humidity is right up there. We do have fairly misty, hazy conditions. We should see a bit of sunshine early in the day, but then later on we could get a shower or a thunderstorm heading off to school today. 26 will be the high. It's going to feel like 32 degrees. No problems. Air quality once again in the low risk category for the day today. Okay, here comes the warm front. That's that red line getting closer to us. That represents the leading edge of the warmer air and what is going to be hot air pushing into southern Ontario. And it's going to start with the heat wave on Sunday. We're going to have 3 days into the low 30s with humidex into the 40s. So that's the southerly flow that we're going to be getting going through the weekend to next week. But today, as summer begins later on tonight, temperatures 25 to 26 degrees, humidex low 30s, 32 or so. And we're looking at that instability with showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and tonight. Temperatures 16, 17, 18 tonight, a little above seasonal. And then tomorrow, we ramp up the temperatures a little bit, 29 degrees. So the humidex tomorrow will be about 37. So you can feel the heat starting to build tomorrow. But again, we're looking at showers and thunderstorms later in the day. So out the door this morning, it is fairly hazy, fairly misty, light winds, temperature right now 15. Long range, of course, coming up. Annette, Rick.
Okay, thanks very much, Brian.
Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And Canada is retaliating against some U.S. trade policies. The details next. Hey, let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Emily, what's coming up in Chit Chat this morning?
Hi, good morning. Our Cals are back in Hamilton, getting ready for the rally happening tomorrow at Hamilton Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people are thrilled about this. And America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, are getting a huge raise.
And deservedly so.
Yeah.
Agreed, but it makes me want to get my butt in shape and go try out because this money is insane. Insane. And the iconic film Jaws celebrating its 50th anniversary.
And we all feel a little older because of it now.
Like today, 50 years ago, it came out in theaters.
50 years ago today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, no worries.
Checking out business news. Our dollar is up 14 basis points, trading just over 73 cents U.S. Gold is down $42 an ounce, and crude is 52 cents higher to $75.66 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, markets were down today in Tokyo, up in Hong Kong, down just a little bit in Shanghai. Checking North American markets, the TSX lost 53 points yesterday. The Dow and NASDAQ were closed for Juneteenth. U.S. stock futures are down this morning after Donald Trump signaled that he's going to give some time for negotiations before deciding on potential strikes on Iran.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is imposing counter tariffs against the United States.
We must reinforce our strength at home and safeguard Canadian workers and businesses from the unjust U.S. tariffs that exist at present. And that's why we're announcing that Canada will be introducing a series of countermeasures to protect Canadian steel and aluminum workers and producers.
Carney says Ottawa will put a quota on foreign steel and will increase counter tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum starting tomorrow if a broader trade deal cannot be reached within the 30-day time frame Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump agreed to at the G7. The Prime Minister didn't specify what those adjusted tariffs would amount to. Trump imposed a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports in March and hiked that rate to 50% earlier this month. This all comes as Hamilton's ArcelorMittal laid off 153 workers at its steel wire drawing mill.
Auto workers at the Cami plant in Ingersoll are worried about their future.
Ripple effects for the whole community are going to be very bad. We are going to lose probably about 60% of our workforce, hundreds of jobs, hundreds of families. We do have programs in place to try and help them out for the next 2 years. They still get 70% of their wages. That will hopefully help them pay off their mortgages, but they're not going to gain any. They're just going to be almost treading water. As far as our plant, our members, and the community, it's going to be devastating.
Now, General Motors laid off over half of the roughly 1,200 people at the Cami plant because of lower demand for the EV vans that plant produces. The plant is expected to restart in October, but with just one shift.
More than 250,000 Honda and Acura vehicles are being recalled in Canada and the U.S. because of an issue with the brake pedal. Over 15,000 vehicles are affected in Canada. Honda says the brake pedal pivot pin may not be secured and potentially cause the pedal to shift out of position, making it hard for drivers to slow or stop the vehicle. The recall includes Acura TLX and MDX models from 2021 to 2025 and Honda Pilots from 2023 to 2025. Owners will be notified and asked to visit a dealership for a free inspection and repair.
Canada Post has reached a deal with one of its unions. It covers about 8,500 employees who mostly manage rural post office. The deal includes an 11% wage increase over 3 years, retroactive to January 1st of last year. This new agreement lasts until the end of 2026. Canada Post still trying to reach a deal with its largest union, which represents about 55,000 postal workers. Both sides in that dispute indicated last week they're struggling to make progress.
We're going to take a quick break. Brian is going to be back with traffic and your 7-day weather forecast, including the first full day of summer.
Good morning, 6:24. It's Friday, and that's a smile right there. Never mind summer beginning later on tonight. Here's a look at some traffic cameras. QEW at Welland, nothing there, absolutely light. Here's some sunshine, top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, Toronto bound towards us. Third line still looks fine. Lauren Park, nothing there. We'll dip into the 403 at Burnham Thorpe. We do have one collision that unfortunately is out of camera range. It's on the 403 right around Waterdown Road. We have an exclusive camera in the area, but we can't just pick it up at the moment, so it's causing a slowdown coming out of Hamilton. All right, temperatures this morning. A little cooler than it was yesterday morning at this time. We're sitting at 15 for Hamilton, Mississauga, 13 Toronto, 16 into Grimsby. And we normally talk about seasonal temperatures for this time of year, 13 for the overnight low. So we're a little above that for the day today. 25 for the high. And those are our sun times and records for today. And yeah, a little unsettled for the day. There is a chance, a slim chance of a shower this morning. We should be 18 for the first bell. Yes, some schools are still in, some schools are in exam period right now, but the last few days of school. 26 for after school, humidex into the 30s for the day, but there's that chance of showers and thunderstorms today. So humidex 32 today, down to 17 tonight, tomorrow 29, humidex 37. Start to ramp up the heat. We'll get some sun, but chance of showers and thunderstorms. And then it's sun. For Sunday, Monday, look at the temperatures. That's a 3-day heat wave, 31, 34, and 32. We get into chance of showers with the approaching cold front, and then temperatures dip a little bit Wednesday and Thursday. It's forecast. Annette, Rick.
Thank you, Brian. The most popular piece of flying history at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum is about to take flight again.
The Avro Lancaster, one of only 2 flying in the world, has been undergoing additional maintenance these last few months. This past winter, the museum says the entire tail assembly was removed for scanning and inspection. All is well, they say, and it's being reassembled. As a result, her 38th season flying at the museum has been reduced. Passenger rides, if you're looking to get on the Lancaster, sold out in about 5 minutes last November for Vera, as she's known. But seats are still available for other aircraft at the museum, which will celebrate Vera's 80th birthday on Canada Day. Fingers crossed she is ready to fly by then.
And you have flown on Vera.
I have, many years ago, yeah. It's quite the honor to do that.
Looking forward to doing that one day myself. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live.